right, we finally got Larry Johnson in, keeping Motown alive,
Yes.
Temptations, everything. Thank you so much, brother.
I am so excited to be here. You guys have no idea. I've been looking forward to this day, and we kept missing each other, but we finally made it work.
We made it work.
Yeah.
And you are keeping Motown alive, man. You are all over.
You know, it's in my heart, man. It's in my heart. And growing up in Detroit, I have to. Some of us have to take the responsibility of keeping that legacy alive and doing it the right way. There's a lot of people that can sing My Girl, but if you sing it from the heart, people understand you. They feel it, you know, so it's cool.
And how much do you think that's missing in today's music? Because, you know, back then when you were coming up and doing everything, it was live bands. There was no computers to fix things,
Yeah.
you know, no corrections.
Yeah.
Now you got, if you mess up a little bit, and if it's not from the heart, you can make it sound like it's from the heart. So for you, you know, just seeing the evolution, what's that like for you?
You know, it's interesting for me because when you perform live, you can't go back and rewind. So the live performers are the ones who tell the real stories. You know, you can be recording all day long, or even in television, you do a bad take, go back, erase it, do it again. But when you're performing live, your audience, they know, they can tell. And if you've given yourself to them and they can feel it, they'll give it right back to you. And that's the most honest exchange you can have when it comes to music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to me, that's what I live for. You know, I mean, it's nice to get paid for it. We gotta pay the bills. But, you know, just doing this, man, and spreading this music and seeing those smiles on those people's faces and seeing them happy and walking up to you afterwards saying, oh my God, you know, I can't believe you took me back to my childhood, and My Girl was my wedding song, and, you know, just stuff like that, you know, and I get it all the time, man. And every time I hear it, it humbles me. It really does.
You know, can you pull up tab 1?
Yep.
My mom was, all I ever heard was Motown. My
Really?
mom, my
Really?
grandpa, and they're all full blood at a time.
Nice.
And everything was Motown.
Nice.
Because of the late, especially my grandfather,
Yeah.
he was a big, I didn't get the height, but he was a ladies' man. So
Okay.
he'd pull up in his Cadillac with the Motown on, man, give a little back massage because you couldn't get arrested for that back then. You know, you're actually being nice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
And talk about on the move, Larry, look at you.
Hey, there we are. Yeah, that's my website there. I encourage people to go to that weekly to just check out some of the performances that we have coming in. Right now is a pretty slow period. As you can see, I only have one show next week and then a couple the following week. But usually August and September slows down quite a bit. But then we're going to be picking up again, starting again at the end of this month and going into October. Heading to New Hampshire on the 2nd of October. That's going to be fun. Looking forward to that concert experience with the Can't Get Next to You group that I do.
You got more dates than a 30-year-old guy or a 20-year-old guy. Look at you.
You know, if you'd have looked at that last year, it was 3 times that amount. So, but it slowed down a lot for me, and it gave me a chance to really settle in. Me and my girl just got a new house together, so we needed some time to move and pack and unpack, and so it kind of worked out, you know. And I could use a little rest from here or there. I'm getting old, man.
You wouldn't know it.
Well, I appreciate that. No, that's another good compliment.
Yeah, well, and it's not just because you're here. I mean, you just got to look at the schedule.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, man, you're doing some of these are back to back.
Oh yeah. There was a time when I was doing 4 or 5 days a week. And it was keeping me in good shape, though, you know, because most people can't tell. I'll be 65 in October.
Wow.
Yeah. I know a lot of people can never guess it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But so that's a good feeling, you know. Live right, eat right, do the right thing, stay away from the stupid stuff, and God just blesses you, you know, and I've been blessed. Really have.
And I'll go to the next tab, and Larry, take me through this.
Okay.
Just to show everybody.
Yeah. This is my website. I encourage people to go to that, ljessenceofmotown.com. And basically, it just has everything that I kind of do all rolled into one little website. Clicking on the different tabs up at top there between home, about, experience, news, you know, it just tells you a little bit about what I've done, what I do, where I've come from, my background, being from Detroit, being blessed to have toured with 4 different lead singers of the Temptations. You know,
how many people could say that?
No, not very many. Not very many. I you know, and bless his heart, Otis Williams is still doing his thing and keeping that legacy alive. And I love those guys. I mean, that's always been a dream come true of mine, to be in that group. And I'm wait for the day for Otis to call me and say, hey, Larry, come on in. I need you, But until you get in that group, you're not in the official roster. But being in a Temptations review situation with the different former members, it's as close as you can get to being in the group, And that's why I crack the whip so hard with my groups. I want to get it right all the time because people are watching us. And if you're doing a tribute to Motown, especially the Temptations, people know what the Temptations look and sound like. So if you don't bring it, they're going to look at you, oh, you from Detroit? Oh, so, but I'm really fortunate to be a part of what I'm doing right now. Michael Yerkel Productions put together a really, really nice Motown tribute, Can't Get Next to You, the Motown Ultimate Temptations concert experience. And we're traveling all over the country with it. We just got back from Columbus, Georgia on Monday, doing a showcase up there.
Oh, yeah. Rob, go to tab 4. Yeah, we have that tab up. That's what you're referring to, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, I thought this was so cool. Again, that, even after all this time, you guys are still doing it. Still cranking it out, getting people out of their seats.
Yeah.
I remember when I would go to PGA National, where they have the Honda Classic all the time.
Right.
And whenever a Motown would come on, whether it was Temptations or whatever from that era, everybody would get up. Yep. Old, young, it didn't matter.
Yep. Did you ever spend time partying at the I-Bar when we used to perform? PGA National has an I-Bar in the middle, and we would perform there every Saturday. And man, you're talking about a party.
Did you guys wear blue?
We had different colors.
I'm sure I saw it.
You probably saw us, man. Right in the lobby area.
Right in the lobby area, right by the bar.
Yep, right
behind
by the
you
bar.
would be where you check in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I saw it because I saw some Temptation shit going down there in blue.
You can't miss him movement.
Oh,
he
no.
moves.
Yeah.
The whole, like I said, right? The whole place got up. I'm not saying that because you're here.
The best party around. I mean, packed crowd, a lot of room to dance. That's another place that I'm looking to have. I want them to call me back because we want to go back again. We want to do it again. We love that place.
And that'd be really good for you guys because you get all over the world flies in there.
Yep.
Especially when golf is going on.
Yep.
Get it.
Yeah. We've met a lot of celebrities coming through there, and they all stop and dance with us. So it's cool. So, but yeah, that show there is that's my rockabye baby right there. And like I said, we're traveling all over the country doing a tribute to the Mighty Mighty Temptations, who I feel is one of the best groups of all time to ever record, So, but going back to my website, if you click on the About tab, I'm sorry, the upcoming events, that's where you find the schedule. So people can get a chance to check out what we're doing and where we're going. So I always encourage people to go to the website and click on upcoming events, and that way you'll see the different dates that are coming in.
And you have the links there too, which makes it a lot easier.
Yes.
You know where it's going to be at.
Yes.
Now with this, do you think in the future you'll go state to state to state? Do you hope to do that, or do you kind of want to keep it?
Well, we're kind of doing that now with Can't Get Next to You, and we do a tribute to Earth, Wind, and Fire too.
I saw that too.
Yeah, it's called Elements, and we're traveling all over the country doing those concerts with full band, full concert experience. It's a lot of fun. My Essence of Motown is also getting booked in other areas as well, so we're getting there, And
so you're gonna end up doing 2 tours at the same time.
Maybe,
That's what it's starting to look like, buddy.
Maybe, yeah. But hey, what better way to be busy?
What better way to be busy?
Yep.
Keeps you alive, right?
Yep.
Let's play a little sample of Larry. I think Rob, you might remember this one.
Where is it at?
Right before that one. Go back right there.
Oh yeah.
Bring back memories.
I
too.
remember this. You got to see him move, man.
Rob, I love the fact that you were there capturing these moments for us. It was so much fun.
Let me get the volume up here too. I think we got volume right.
How did you get started in singing?
Started singing as a small boy when I was a young child, singing around the house, and eventually realized that I had some sort of a voice. So just one thing led to another, and ended up getting in other groups and getting invited to do other things, and then moving one level.
Get the feet going, man. Look at the jackets. That's what I love the most, your guys' outfit.
Thank you. The rhinestone shoes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Former members of the Temptations.
If you ain't smart, if you're not sparkling, it ain't Motown, right?
That's right. And when I moved down here, I kind of brought that whole sequin jacket, rhinestone shoe thing. I brought it with me from Detroit. And before you know it, everybody around is doing it, which is cool. I think it's great. If we're going to represent Motown and oldies, show the flair, the flash, so there's that double spin.
Yeah, and the rhythm you guys have together is awesome.
And you didn't fall.
No, I didn't. Yeah, it's so much fun doing this stuff, man.
You know what's funny is, I talk to a lot of comedians that are, they're up there, they're doing stadiums. Mm-hmm. And when I talk to them, I'll ask them, what's your favorite thing to do? And they love to do the little clubs, 200, 250, love the stadiums and the huge events.
Yeah.
But the little ones are cool too.
Yep.
You guys, is that how it was for you guys too?
Yeah,
to
well, to me, having a theater background, I was always taught that there's a wall between you and the audience. And when you break through that wall and go out there and touch them, shake their hands, play around with them, it just kind of makes them feel a part of the show. And people really enjoy that, man. So I found that they like to sit back and be entertained, but at the same time, they want to be a part of the show as well. So before COVID hit, we were all over the place in the audience. But when COVID hit, we kind of had to back out a little bit, give fist bumps now.
Before you get 10 years, right?
It's crazy. But, that hands-on experience to me is what really elevates us to another level, because a lot of groups don't do that. They just sing and but then more and more people now are starting to follow our lead and get out into the audience more and do more things and touch and feel the people, shake their hands, and they feel so special. They feel good about it.
Well, like from a guy on the other end, you're no longer Larry Motown, this big famous guy. You're just another person.
Yep.
So then you're more likable. The group's more likable, and then the reputation's good, because whenever I think of Motown, the Temptations and things like that, I think of like positivity. Everybody's happy, they're dancing, sparkly, moving them feet. It's never like drama.
Nope.
No type of drama.
Feel good music.
Now you put on anything, you either want to jump off a cliff, or you want to go fight somebody, or you're crying.
I know. Today's music has changed a lot, but I'm glad to see a lot of parents, like you said, your parents played Motown all day long for you.
All the time.
And I find that now a lot of the younger generation are coming up to me like, we love that music. It seems like it just never dies. And so just doing Motown, to me, I always felt like growing up in church and singing in the gospel choir, I always felt like I would be a gospel singer, and I still am when you think about it, because Motown music is all about spreading positivity to other people. So you're not singing about drugs or degrading women or doing all that kind of stuff. You're singing about something that takes people to a positive place in their lives. And to me, that's sort of like spreading the gospel. You bringing feel-good music to these people. And that, to me, I love that.
It's so interesting how many professional musicians have come from the church.
Mm-hmm.
This episode is brought to you by Let's Get Checked. Are you the man your father was? Recent studies have shown that men's testosterone levels have dropped substantially since the 1980s at about an average of 1% per year. Think about how old your father was when he was born. For example, if he was 30, your testosterone levels could be 30% lower than his. Low testosterone levels can have all type of health effects on men. It can affect your mood, sex drive, memory, muscle mass loss, you name it. And yes, low testosterone is more common the older you get, but it can affect men at any age. So let's talk about today's sponsor, Let's Get Checked. You can order a testing kit that will be delivered to you in a discreet packaging with next-day delivery. Once your sample arrives in the laboratory, confidential results will be available from your secure online account within 2 to 5 days. So, if you want to test your hormone levels without having to leave your home, visit trylgc.com/MSCS Media and get 25% off your test using the code MSCS Media. The link is in the description at this podcast is brought to you by Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet, Monster Energy. It's the ideal combo of the right ingredients in the right proportion to deliver a big bad buzz that only Monster can. Monster packs a powerful punch, has a smooth, easy drinking flavor. Athletes, musicians, co-eds, road warriors, metalheads, geeks, hipsters, and bikers dig it. You will too. Monster Energy is more than just the green OG. Monster has Monster Ultra, Juice Monster, Monster Hydro, Rehab Monster, Dragon Tea, Monster Max, Muscle Monster, and many more. Buy on Amazon, buy on Walmart, or go to monsterenergy.com and believe me, you'll find a place. Unleash the beast. Monster Energy.
Oh, yeah.
When they were kids singing,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I mean, just think about how many.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All coming from that church,
Yeah.
belting them.
Amazing
I
voices.
mean, the
Yeah.
voice, even like we have a friend of ours out Bismarck. He's a saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a monster.
Mhm.
Started in that church,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, man. It's something about being grounded in gospel music and having a background in it that you just present yourself differently. You present from your soul. You present from your heart. There's a lot of people singing up there just to get a paycheck. When you're singing from your heart, people know. They can tell, you know, and that guy means what he's saying, you know. It's just a wonderful, it's a gift. It's really a good gift. And I just would never want to abuse it, you know.
Now, what was it like growing up in Detroit? Back then, paint the picture of Detroit back then.
Well, I actually grew up in a suburb of Detroit called Inkster, and it's about maybe 20 minutes west of the actual city. And when I was a young boy, there's a lot of unrest going on in the city. You know, they had the riots and stuff in '67, and you know, Detroit is nothing like that now. Oh man, you should see it now. They've turned it around. It's beautiful. I mean, it's
It is?
one of the most beautiful places I think to go visit in the country. The downtown area, all of the sports teams are all within a couple of miles of each
Really?
other.
I'd like to ask you about that because
Yeah.
the stigma now is Detroit because of that one mayor. Remember I don't know if it was the mayor, whoever it was, he was buying all the rundown properties or condemning them when they shouldn't have been and just destroyed
Yeah.
Detroit for a couple years there
Yeah.
or whatever. So now they clean that
Oh
up.
man, you should see it now. It's totally changed.
That's
It's
awesome.
beautiful. Yeah, it's a good place to go and visit. I guess still got a lot of family there, you know. And but
What did that guy do, Larry? Exactly. And then how did they clean it up?
I don't know the exact thing that happened because living down here for the last 21 years, I'm not really, you know,
up to date.
in tune to how it happened. But man, going back there now, it's just a wonderful
That's
place
nice
to
to hear.
visit, a good place to go. And you should see what they're getting ready to do at the Motown Museum. The Motown Museum, where Hitsville, where they recorded those songs, that little bitty house that Berry Gordy started Motown. They get ready to do a big expansion behind it. It's going to rival the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland.
Wow.
It's going to be something huge like that, you know. So I'm just so happy and I'm proud to be a part of it. And you know, like you were saying, growing up in the suburb of the city, my father basically shielded us from all of that stuff that was going on. You know, we would just stay in our little home and listen to our Temptations music. And I can remember being a small boy and doing the Temptation walk at 11 years old in my driveway, imitating the Temptations. And then to get called to perform with those guys, it's like, it blew my mind, man. I was just like, wow, how'd I get here? But somebody always told me that I would eventually do something like that. They would tell me in church, Larry, the world needs to hear your voice. And it happened. You know, I've been countries all over the world with different members of the Temptation, especially Richard Street. He took me everywhere. And to see countries like Japan and Sweden and Italy and France and Sweden and London and England and Germany, and it's just, my passport's full of stamps. It happened.
Yeah,
You know, so that prophecy that those people who cared about me wished on my life and prayed for me when I was growing up came true. You know, the world has heard my voice, and I need $1 million in the bank to show for it. I don't have that yet. I'm working on that. But I feel like I'm a millionaire because of what I give to the music industry. You know?
So you had that music in you when you were a kid.
Oh, yeah.
11, you were playing. Now, when you were in high school, what were you doing? Were you into sports or
Sports.
what were you into?
I was all state in track and field.
Yeah.
All state, all league, all area. I played a little football, a little basketball, I played a little tennis. You know, I got varsity letters, and I was an athlete and never really was a singer. And my drama teacher told me an exercise one day in drama class was to find a song and lip sync it in front of your class on a stage, on an auditorium in the gym. And I found this song that I really love singing. I know I can sing it, but she didn't want me to sing it. And I lip synced that song to my class, and they all were like, I felt like you were singing it for real, So I never really sang. All my high school friends in high school, they were like, "Where'd this come from? We didn't know you could sing in high school."
Because they know you as the track guy, football guy.
Yeah, not just trying to be a nice guy and fit in high school, kind of introverted, kind of shy, and then went off to college at Eastern Michigan University and met a friend who plays piano, and then we started singing in the lobby of the dorm, and that's when I started developing more and more, and then I did a talent show up at college, and that was it for me. I was bit by the bug.
So that was when you did that talent show. That was when you knew this is what you're gonna do. Take me through that talent show, because that's kind of like the breakout of Larry Johnson, right? Yeah. So take me through that, because it's cool for me to hear, like, in the beginning how it was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm breaking this record, that record,
right,
in sports, but this is where my heart is, like you were talking about.
Well, just before that, I would have solos in the church choir growing up as a teenager. So I think that's where I developed my love for singing and presenting this gift to other people. But when I got to college, and me and two friends, Juan Tucker, who's I still talk to today, one of my closest friends, and a guy named Steve Shillingford, put together a song by Heatwave. And it was in the auditorium, and they opened the curtains, and we walked out, and the song started playing, and all of those girls started screaming, and we were like, ah! And I was just like, that's what this is like, to be in front of an audience on a big stage. And I was like, I got to do more of this. This is really cool, And I still didn't really get involved in it heavily until a few years later, when I joined a theater company, a little off-Broadway theater company called Theater Arts Productions, and started doing live performances. And then just one thing after another just started snowballing on top of, found myself doing a show called Putting on the Stars and a Motown Review, and that was in a big arena. And that's when I first met Richard Street and Ollie Woodson of the Temptations. The Temptations came to perform at the Premier Center where we were performing, and we were able to get tickets to that. And they put us down front, right in the front row. And the Temptations are on stage. They were doing a song, and Richard and Ollie and Otis and Ron and Melvin were in the group. And I was just like, we were up front just going crazy, the three of us, me and my group. And Ollie was hitting these high notes that he would hit, and I would sing it also from the audience. And Richard was like, hey, hit that note again, brother, from the stage. And I hit it again. He said, wait a minute. He put the mic down.
Wow.
And I stood up and hit this high note that this little riff that Ollie Woodson does. And everybody behind me went crazy. So I was just like, and when I started touring with Richard later, I tried to remind him of that moment. He said, yeah, I think I remember that.
You don't remember that moment?
I don't think he remembered it.
You don't remember that
I don't
moment?
think he did, But I sang with Ollie first. But I forgot to bring it up to Ollie, But Ollie, Richard, Barrington, Bo Henderson, and Theo Peoples are the four former members of the Temptation that I toured with. And just meeting those guys has been great. But that's my story, coming up.
But how funny is that, though, that the guy that you were, what you were listening to at 11, you end up in the front row getting the mic, which I don't, it would never happen nowadays. That's the problem. You can't do things like that now.
No, well, they still do it.
Or you're not,
Not as much, but I think they still do it.
Yeah, not as frequently.
Yeah, but that was a great moment for me.
I bet it was.
And to end up touring with those guys later, I was just like, how'd I get here?
With Motown, when you talk about that time period, rock bands and everything else, a lot of drugs, everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think, Motown, you never hear anything like that? Like, you don't hear a lot of drug use, overdoses, people dying.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because of where everybody came from, or?
It's hard to say, because everybody has their own individual struggles. And I know there was a lot of civil unrest in the 60s, a lot of racism, a lot of things going on. And a lot of times those guys would feel like they're on top of the world when they're on stage and be treated like kings. When they come off stage, they couldn't even enter a certain door at a hotel without being turned away, saying you have to go to the African-American door or drink from the African-American water fountain, or sit at the African-American diner where you can only get served. It was hard for them. So I think people kind of got caught up in the drugs and the alcohol, and that's a powerful thing, because once you get going in that, it's hard to turn away from it. And I feel very fortunate and blessed that people never even did drugs around me, backstage, in the dressing room. They respected me enough to know, they know I didn't do it, so they never did it around me, which is really a blessing for me because I never tried it, never did it, never wanted to do it. I remember my father sitting me on his knee when I was 13 years old, and he was like, I am deathly afraid of drugs, and I don't ever want you to try it, and I don't ever want you to do it. And his words still ring true in my mind today. That I just never got involved in it. And I've seen it tear people apart.
Oh, yeah.
And ruin their lives, ruin their families, ruin their jobs. It's hard, but some people have a lower tolerance to the substance of it, and they get addicted to it, and before you know it, they're strung out, and then they lose their way. But some of those guys, they found they needed it to perform on stage because of everything else that was going around them in their lives at the time. So I need to get a drink of whiskey before I go sing, or I need to get a hit of cocaine before I go sing. And that's the kind of stuff, once you do that on a regular basis, before you know it, you're doing it all the time. And now you've lost everything.
Right, because now you feel like I need that drink or that line before I go on stage.
Yeah.
And then it becomes 2 drinks,
That's right.
2 lines, and everything else. And then, God forbid, you have problems at home.
Yeah. Oh.
Now it's through the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like he and I always talk about, you look at people like Britney Spears, Justin Bieber. They were 12, 13 years old. Wham! All this fame. No high school, no time to hang out with friends. And then you wonder why later in life at 25, 26, they lose it because they never had that childhood.
That's right. That's right.
Maybe their parents were pushing them a little bit too hard at 12 to be torn the entire world at 12,
Yeah.
At some point, I would imagine at that young of age and the fame like you guys had, if you didn't have a good background or a good family, I could see how the best person in the world could just like that lose their way.
Yeah.
Because you have all that pressure. And then, you come out with a hit like you guys were coming out with, or Bieber or Spears. Now you have this stigma where you pressure to make that hit again and again and again, and
to stay on top. You got to. Once you get on top, you want to stay up there.
Yeah.
And the music industry is very cruel. They want to see the current, what's going on now, and if you're not going on now, you start stumbling down that ladder, and then before you know it, all that fame and glory that you had is you don't have it anymore. But that, you hit it on the head. You have to have a good background, a good support system, a good family unit that's prayed for you your whole life. And my grandparents, man, my grandfather was a deacon in the church, and they prayed for me. And I felt that umbrella of protection staying over me even to this day. And you have to have that foundation in order to stay away from the temptations that are pulling you into negative things. You got to be able to bounce those things off of you and have a love and a drive for the music, and that's what propels you. And that's what you want to seek. You want to get that stage, that feeling of being on stage and making those people happy. Forget about the substances and the drugs and stuff. That's my high. Seeing those people crying, saying, "Oh my God, you brought back memories," with tears in their eyes. That's my high, so. But yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying when it comes to that.
Now back then, when you were coming up, say, later on, like when things start to go, how do record deals go? Like now you hear the 360 deal, the other deal, this deal, that deal. What were record deals like back then? Because there was no streaming, no computer.
No, it's tough.
Nothing.
It was tough. It was tough, and back then it was a lot of people who just didn't trust each other, because the industry was so crooked, But I remember when I recorded my first record, it was called Endless Possibilities, way back in the late 80s. And I signed my first record deal, a 2-year contract with Motor City Magic Records. And promoting it was difficult. We would promote it locally, but trying to break through to a major record company was hard. It was a lot of red tape, a lot of... it was hard. And I didn't really understand a lot about the record industry at the time, but I had a guy that was looking out for me, and he had my back. And we enjoyed moderate success with it, but it never really got to the next level. And I remember the record company trying to talk to Kool and the Gang, was looking for a new lead singer back in the day. And my camp approached their camp and said, like, we got this cool singer. Maybe you should take a look at him. He's really good. This Larry Johnson guy. And Kool and the Gang happened to be in concert in Detroit one night. The same night I had a showcase with my song.
Oh, there you go.
And Robert Kool Bell and another lead singer that they were looking at the time named Gary Brown, they actually came to my performance. to watch me perform. So I was just like, man, I might be the lead singer, Cool in the Gang. How cool is that? You know? And for him to actually come and I thank him for that. I don't know, maybe he'll listen to this, but I have to thank him for even coming to see me, and because that meant a lot to me. It didn't happen. They went a different direction.
Still came.
But he came, and I met him, got pictures with him, and it was just a cool moment. But nowadays, I think the record industry has really, really changed a lot. It's just, in fact, I don't even know these days, how to get a record deal or what's going on with the record industry. It's difficult.
With all the streaming and downloads, it's just a different ballgame.
Yeah, and to get paid for it, a lot of people aren't really getting what they feel they deserve when they put a record out, because there are many people that are, streaming it, and I don't know. It's crazy.
It's a mess.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But a good thing about it is I got people in my camp, people in my circle who care for me, and who, if I decided to maybe do something like that, they would have my back and lead me and guide me and point me in the right direction. Mark Morrison, local guy, did Return of the Mac. You ever heard that song?
Yeah.
Good
I
friend
saw
of
him
mine.
at the
Meat Market.
Meat Market.
Yeah,
Josh.
he
Josh
He lives
Sagman.
down here?
You know
Yeah.
Josh Sagman?
Who?
Josh Sagman?
No.
He's there all the time.
I don't.
He lives
but
down
Mark's a good friend of mine. Mark comes and sees me, supports my music,
Great.
and I know if I ever decide to get into something like that, I could go to him and he can be like, Larry, do this, do that, do that.
Oh, he knows.
Yeah, because he knows. Believe me, he knows. Return of the Mac was recorded in 1995.
I still hear it.
Oh, man, that song gets
Big
you going.
song.
I love that song.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. I play it all the time at my shows.
Return of the
Yeah.
Mac. Why am I singing? I got Larry here. What the hell am I trying to do?
When he walks in the door, I put it on for him.
He's jacked too.
Oh, yeah,
He's
great
jacked.
guy. Great
he's
guy.
diesel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, great guy. Got a heart of gold. Real cool. Got a real cool, giving, caring heart. Very spiritual man. Goes to church with his family. It's a real cool guy.
Well, he
Yep.
looks clean cut and he's still around, so he's doing something
it.
right.
He's doing it.
And then what did you do with Horizon Vocal Group in '88?
That was one of my first projects to elevate me to the level that I'm on now. It was almost there, and then when I got with Ollie Woodson's Temptations, then I jumped to that level. But Horizon got me there.
And what did they do that got you there?
Well, we had a contract with Chevrolet through a really cool company called Gale and Rice up in Detroit, and they hired us to perform at the auto shows all over the country. So we would tour every year for 10 years, 10 seasons, all over the country, Chicago, New York, Dallas, Minnesota, and we would perform in the Chevrolet display
10
at the
years
auto
of
show.
touring?
Yes, so that actually was the first taste of touring. And we would perform for 10 minutes out of every hour. They would put a stage for us in the auto show display where all the cars were around and the narrators were talking about the cars. But we would come on and we would perform for 10 minutes and bring all of these people over to the Chevrolet display. And then the salesman and the product specialist would talk to them about buying a new car. So it was a great, great thing for us. They really took good care of us. They bought us new wardrobe every year, and we would do tributes to Temptations, Four Tops, Kool and the Gang, Billy Joel, rock and roll. It was just a great thing for me, and it helped me learn how to communicate with an audience on a daily basis, and it just got me ready for what I'm doing now, with the Temptations thing,
Yeah, it sounds like it kind of helped you adapt, right? To different
big time.
scenarios, different personalities,
Yes.
different type of people, right?
Yes, and we would perform for an 8-hour shift, but it was only 10 minutes out of every hour. So, and just to do that over and over again, just learn how to talk to the crowd and the kids. And I remember one day, this memory is really dear to my heart because the kids were sitting down front, right below the stage, just looking up at us, just eating up every word that came out of my mouth. And something hit me and said, talk to those kids. And I would look at them and I'd say something like, you kids, make sure you stay in school, get good grades, listen to your parents, your teachers, stay away from the negative things like the drugs and alcohol, be the best that you can be. I would talk to these kids and they would soak it up. And the people from Chevrolet, the administrators, they were like, keep that. Do it in every show from here on out. And so I did it in every show from here on out. I would speak to the kids, and we recorded a song called "Swing Engine." It was a remake of a soca song, and we were doing an auto show, so they thought it was a great idea. And Chevrolet we would pass out free copies of the CD after every performance and autograph them for the kids and pictures and stuff. So it was just like a really good customer relation step stool for me. And then when Ollie Woodson called, it was just natural for me to be on that stage and tour because Horizon set me up for it.
How funny is that? Larry gets comfortable basically on tour and being within people from the Chevrolet dealer.
Yep. From the Chevrolet
Isn't
contract.
that amazing how life happens, though?
Oh, man.
It's just funny,
And then Richard Street, for 8 years, took me all over the world. And Richard would he was like a big brother to me. He didn't really travel with a manager in his last years. I would do all of his affairs. I would do his contracts. I would do a lot of the talking on stage for him because toward his final years, he was having a little bit of trouble with some breathing issues. So he would tell me to talk. So I'm talking to these major audiences and major arenas all over the world. So that just really got me ready for, again, speaking to an audience and having relations with the audience, talking to them. And
what about that first arena, though? When you walk out there and you...
Oh yeah.
What's that like?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, can you even see what's really going on or fathom
it's
the first time you saw that arena?
It was pretty mind-boggling. It was pretty mind-blowing. But I actually got that with back before Horizon was even formed, with my show called the Motown Review. It was at a big arena where the Temptations performed, full audience every week, going crazy over us. So that, kind of
iced in, broke in a little bit.
Yeah. But my biggest, I'll never forget this. We did the national anthem at the Dallas Cowboys game. Standing on that star in the middle of the field.
Congratulations.
And with Richard Street's Temptations. And at the end, when we hit that final note, the 80,000 people just erupted. It was the craziest feeling. I still get chills on my arms right now thinking about it when those people applauded us. And I have it's on YouTube somewhere. Richard Street's Temptations sings the national anthem at the Dallas game, something like that. You can Google it. But it was just like the feeling I got after doing that. First of all, we just sang the national anthem, which is really cool. Then we stand on that star at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, and I'm a football fan.
I'm ready to go.
Right?
It
was just like mind-blowing to me.
Larry, we got a problem now.
What?
What are they going to do without Prescott? He broke his thumb.
Oh man.
They're talking Roethlisberger maybe. They're talking Cam Newton.
Yeah, they got a few options, but man, how sad is that? That guy, just one thing after another, year after year. I'm still a Detroit Lions fan, even though we can't win. But I'm just a football fan in general.
Gave my Eagles a run for their money on Sunday.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. But yeah, I hope Dak recovers soon, man. He's a great guy, great quarterback. My son lives in Dallas, Larry Johnson II. He coaches a lot of the football camps for the Dallas Cowboys, the youth camps.
Oh, wow.
And he just did one with Dak Prescott about a couple of weeks ago.
Congratulations, Junior.
Yeah.
He's getting it in there.
Yeah, he did one with Jason Witten a couple of years ago, and that's it. That's the one. That's the one.
You can play a little bit.
If you scroll, you want to watch it? If you scroll to the end.
Yeah, scroll to it.
Yeah, scroll to the end when we actually sing. I think that's the sound check.
Hold on. Sorry, I hit the wrong damn thing here.
Rob, you're good, man. You found it.
Now, what year was that? What year is this?
I'm thinking 2006, 2007. We broke in to get ready after the national anthem.
Now, does that take you all the way back to being there?
Man,
Like,
yes.
do you smell it, feel it, that type of thing?
I got a little lead there, too. Richard told me to sing the second lead. And I got to keep that jersey.
That's cool.
Did it?
Yeah, Terrell Owens
T.O.
Right there.
Oh,
Listen to that. Listen to that. Man, oh, God.
That's a roar.
Man, and man, what a feeling. What a feeling. You know, Richard
Listen to
Street.
that. Listen.
Then they started booing
Oh,
it
the
because
Redskins
the
come out.
Redskins ran the field. Applause turned the boos real quick, but that wasn't for us. That applause was crazy, man.
That's when football was football.
So cool. So cool. It was a really good memory for me, man. Very good.
Did you
Thanks
get
for
to-
pulling that up, Rob.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Did you get to meet the Jimmy Johnson? What's the owner?
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones.
No, I didn't. But
Jerry Jones hasn't aged in 50 years.
oh yeah,
He doesn't age, this guy.
no.
Guess
but-
when you got money like him, you can stay whatever age you want.
Yeah, and he's trying his hard to get them back to the Super Bowl. He's trying hard.
Hey, you can't say nothing bad. He spends money.
Yeah,
It's
oh,
just,
yeah.
I don't know if he's picking whoever's
Bad
picking.
investments.
Yeah, some of them picks are injury prone.
Right.
They look good on paper.
I
but,
know
you know,
they got a good team. They just can't seem to get over that hump, man.
stay healthy. You know?
Stay healthy. Yep.
Now,
yep.
out of all these countries you've been to, what would you say was the most shocking? Like when you walked in there, you know, you're walking in there as Motown. Like you said, were you in China?
No.
Oh, Japan.
Yeah.
Now, what was Japan like?
Oh man, one of the most fantastic tours. We would go to Japan. I think we toured there at least 5 or 6 times.
I bet they loved you guys
And
because they never see stuff like that, right?
They're so customer oriented. If I needed an ink pen, they would take off running for it. You know, bowing for you. They're just so caring and giving. But the show producers, from theater to theater to theater, meticulously the same setup everywhere we went. And they pay so much attention to detail. Our sound checks were so simple because they had us programmed in from place to place to place, and it was crazy. It was crazy. It was really, and then of course back then the technology in the bathrooms or you know, just the cell phones, it was crazy being in Japan. I loved it. It was one of my favorite places to go. You know,
Even though you probably wouldn't want to live there, but the way that they run things are on point.
yeah.
And I think a lot of it is because I've heard that a lot about countries like that because they lost their ego. They don't have an ego like the U.S. has.
Right.
You know, we're worried about stupid stuff.
Yeah.
You know, whereas countries like that, they're worried about things that are maybe
I
a little
agree.
bit more important.
I
You know,
totally agree. Totally agree with you.
what else was like a really cool country that you went to?
Well, I can name off a few. Loved doing Monte Carlo in France, in the Nice area. And every time, I use that area a lot on television movies. And every time they showed that hotel, I was there. I performed in that place, you know.
You're like, look, I did that.
Yeah. But I loved going to England. Had a great agent over there.
I bet England was wild.
England, love Motown. Germany, England. I mean, you're talking about Northern Soul, the Motown over there.
What about Ireland?
You're a rock star. Ireland too. Same thing.
Can you imagine?
Yeah,
in
I'd love
Ireland?
to
I
go.
bet you
Same
guys
thing.
in Ireland, everybody hammered. You
Yeah,
guys just
man.
dancing up.
I'd love to go there.
Oh,
And
boy.
they drank a lot over there in Ireland.
Ooh.
But I remember just being so green and riding to the venue, just green grass everywhere in Ireland, you know. Loved going to Sweden. Sweden was one of my favorite places to go as well.
Yeah.
And I ended up going back over there. That's where the picture, on the upper corner, the corners in the purple.
Yeah.
That's where those were taken from. They flew me over to be a judge on a television show like American Idol. And they had the Soul Week. So I was a judge and a coach for the contestants on the TV show. And I was featured that day. And it was one of the most unforgettable moments and memories of my career.
I'll tell you what, they have a hell of a stage, if you ask me.
Oh, the set was amazing. It was beautiful. It was really cool. And I loved it. And I got a lot of friends over there, met a lot of friends over there, and still keep in touch with a lot of them. You know, they're really close. I actually wrote a song that was released with me and another artist over there. Her name was Tanya, and we released it. It's called Bump That Noise. And it actually did really good initially, but then it kind of fizzled out, you know. But got a lot of good memories of Sweden. Yeah, Stockholm, great city.
Stockholm. I always hear about Stockholm.
Great
Sweden.
city.
And then you had, what was the song? Swing? That was aired
Swing
on
Engine.
Swing Engine. It was aired on BET.
That was one of my favorite too, because with Horizon, it kind of catapulted us to another level because that was the first time we got a chance to see us on a television network. And we're watching BET and watching Caribbean Rhythms, and our video comes on.
And you were number one in the Caribbean.
Number one for 8 months in a row.
Awesome. That's what's up.
We were ahead of everybody down there in St. Croix.
How does that make you feel? When you see
Oh
that?
man, they flew us down there. We did 2 sold-out concerts, radio interviews. The song was huge in the Caribbean. Huge.
Number one.
Number
Yeah.
one for 8 months in a row. Or was it 11 months in a row?
That's a long time.
8, 11, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, yeah.
Nowadays, you'll never in a million years see a song number one for more than a week.
Yeah.
Too much money running around.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun. Those are great memories of mine. Great memories.
When did BET first come out? Because it was MTV first, right?
Yeah.
And then MTV was shortly
Ranch
after.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, BET and VH1 kind of spun off of MTV, and I don't remember exactly when.
Early
it started.
90s, maybe?
Early 90s?
Yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah.
Early 90s.
And then late 2000s, MTV just, I don't even know why it's called M anymore.
Yeah.
You know, they might as well just
Yeah.
call it reality.
Yeah.
RTV.
Reality TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they killed that. At least BET kept,
Yeah.
half of the music
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But they got to shift with the times.
Yeah.
You know?
It's changed a lot. Changed a lot. It's not like it used to be. So yeah, but yeah, Swing Engine, great song. I'm thinking about doing it again.
Well,
I'm thinking about remaking
It
it.
should have went number one.
Yeah, one of my guys in my group, Rick Ingram, passed away recently. One of the leaders of Horizon, and I would love to pay some kind of tribute to him, and remake that song, and just to keep Horizon's legacy alive as well.
Because kind of going through, your history, Horizon really put you out there on
They
the
did.
map.
Yep.
BET
All about
number one.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should do a
Oh, yeah.
remix on that one. Brother.
Yeah,
Because that,
I owe a lot of my career to Horizon.
I mean, everybody, when you hit number one like that, everybody knows who you are now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And to perform with my brother in that group.
Oh, yeah.
That's a dream come true, to be on stage with your brother. Who's one of the best dancers in the world right now. You should see my brother. He's an Arthur Murray dance instructor. Man, he's so smooth. He's Fred Astaire all over again, man. I think he told me the other day he's ranked like in the top 20 in the world as far as instructors, Arthur Murray instructors. Like,
Wow.
he's really good.
How old is he?
He's a year older than me, and he looks younger than me.
So he's still kicking it.
Oh yeah, yeah. He just turned 66, and he looks like he's 32. He'd dance me under the table. That's
And
for
you
sure.
can move.
Oh, I try, but he was always a dancer in the family.
That's what I wanted to ask. So when you tour with 4 different Temptation groups,
Mm-hmm.
you have to learn all that choreography, all that. How hard is that in adjustment?
It's
I know
hard.
it's like similar beat in a way, but still it's different.
Yeah. Well, what I did, Ollie Woodson's choreography was similar to Richard Street's choreography because they were both in the Temptations in the early 90s at the same time. Then when Richard left the Temptations in 1992, he taught us the exact same choreography that the Temptations was doing at that time. So I learned that. So I, in turn, taught that to my guys. So when Richard Street passed away and Barrington Henderson he blessed us with his talents to step in and keep our Temptations review going in Richard Street's honor. But now we still have another Grammy Award winner, former lead singer of the Temptations, and Barrington Bo Henderson. He stepped in doing the same choreography that we were doing with Richard Street. And then when Theo Peoples came along, we were still doing the same choreography because those guys knew the choreography also because it was similar to what Otis was doing in the 90s. And it's pretty ironic to me that I sing with Richard Street and Barrington Henderson, Theo Peoples, I got to get it right. Theo Peoples took Richard Street's place in the Temptations. And then Barrington Henderson took Theo Peoples' place in the Temptations. And I toured with all 3 of those guys. So that's another ironic tidbit that I would throw in there. They all sang second tenor with the Temptations, as did Ollie Woodson as well. So it's just pretty ironic that these things are kind of falling into place like that. Each one of those guys, they pass the baton to each other. And here I sang with each one of them, which is really kind of a good feeling. It's pretty cool.
It's a nice portfolio to have.
Yeah.
Give me a time when you're on stage, because back then, like we were talking about, there's no computer fixes. Give me a time when you're on stage and you drop the ball, you mess up. How do you play it off? How do you play it off the best you can?
I learned a long time in theater.
I learned a long time ago.
in theater that when you admit or try to cover for your first mistake, you've just made your second mistake, because you have to act like it didn't happen. I mean, I've hit a microphone stand before, almost knocked it over. Sometimes you forget words. Sometimes.
Oh yeah, because you don't have the words playing in the background to jump to like nowadays.
Yeah, you might turn the wrong way in the choreography when you're first learning it, but you just act like it didn't happen. You got to have short-term memory, like Kobe Bryant and those guys. When they miss a shot, they got to forget about that and go to the next play, because it happened. Everybody misses shots. You got to go to the next play and just do better the next time and work on it and work on your craft, which is what I did. I worked on my voice, worked on my craft, so I wouldn't make those mistakes again. And I love doing it enough to want to get in my woodshed in my rehearsal studio and get myself good again, so I wouldn't make the same mistake. But believe me, I've made some mistakes on stage.
Just people don't know it, maybe,
people
right?
just cover it up. You cover it up. I can tell, because I look at the rewind. I can tape. Oh yeah, I messed up there. I can go to videos right now and show you when I was with Ollie Woodson's Temptations in Germany. That was my first Temptations group. And I was so nervous, 'cause I was a big Ollie Woodson fan. And I was so nervous, and being on stage with him, it was like a dream come true to me, man. And so I had to concentrate on my note, my lyrics, my words, and the choreography, being with this legend. So it was tough. I made a couple of mistakes, but he didn't catch it. Because Ollie was the type of guy, he would call you out on stage if you made a mistake, or he'd be like, oh, that wasn't right. Get that right, right in the middle of the concert. I've heard, Ollie, bless his heart, may he rest in peace. He was amazing, amazing, amazing to work with. But he was very particular and meticulous in getting it right, because those guys came from the Temptations. So if they're going to represent themselves publicly, you have to represent them, standing alongside of them with what they're used to. So if you don't bring it and you making mistakes and messing up, it makes them look bad. Yeah. And they're not going to have that. And it's kind of with me now, with my guys. I'm like, y'all, people are watching me. They're like, Larry, you on stage with the things that you've done, you got these guys on stage making mistakes. What's up with that? So my guys are very dedicated to getting it right and rehearsing, and they've been doing an amazing job, But it's tough. We all make mistakes, but you just got to cover it up.
And like you were saying, you got to be tough on your team. You have to be, and sometimes it's hard to be, because you're not trying to be mean. You're just trying to get the best out of them.
Right. Yep.
Now, when you're touring like this and you have all this fame, how in the world are you able to withstand a relationship, or you just don't have one until it calms down?
You know what? It takes a special person to be in your life to be able to understand what we do. And us leaving and touring, and you got girls screaming and going crazy and hitting on you and stuff. It takes a special person, but it also takes a special entertainer to be dedicated to a relationship as well. And I've never really been a promiscuous person. I didn't grow up like that, So to have a partner in your life that supports you and trusts you, it means the world. And my former wife and the woman I'm with now, they were amazing support systems. They really support me. They trust me. They understand that I'm coming home to them. They understand that it's just a job, and it's my job to make people happy. And my thing is, a lot of entertainers don't think this way. A lot of men entertainers, they want a mic in their hand so they can get the women. Yeah. Because it's all about the women. My thing is, I want to get everybody. I want to get old, young, black, white, kid, oldie, 80s, 8-year-old, 90-year-old. I want to get everybody. Purple, green, orange. It doesn't matter to me. Yeah. So
the dog in the back.
The women are just a part of that group.
Right.
So I look at it like I'm entertaining everybody. And I got a good woman. I don't need anything else. I want to make sure that everything is cool at home, and long as they say happy wife, happy life.
You ain't lying, right? You ain't lying.
I'm not married, but when you with your significant other, you got to make things right, man. And we've got an amazing relationship now. We're doing really, really well, and it's elevated me between her, my family, my kids, my support system. That around me. It just keeps me elevating to new levels, to new heights. And I can see myself doing bigger and better things. And you guys are helping me get there because this whole thing is cool.
Oh, thank you for coming again, man. It's an honor.
I love
it's
it.
an honor. I wish my mom was still alive to see you.
Yeah, well, maybe she's watching us.
Well, she's somewhere.
Up there with my dad.
Yep.
And my mom watching us, it's cool. It's cool.
Now, how many times as you're coming up through, the music industry, had you seen, relationships just destroyed?
All the time.
This episode is brought to you by Fiji. More than just water.
This is not just rock. It's ancient volcanic rock that filters tropical rain, giving it double the electrolytes and its signature soft, smooth taste. It's not just water. It's Fiji water.
A group.
All the time.
Lead singer, they break up. It's just a mess. Turn to drugs.
All
Next
the
thing you
time.
know, they're dead or gone all the time. Huh?
It's tough. And, that's why you have to be very picky in who you choose to be on stage with you. You really don't want to pick nobody that got a drug issue, got habits, have womanizing problems. You don't want those guys on stage with you. You want your group to represent a wholesome, respectable unit, because that's how the public is going to perceive you. If I got two guys in my group that's messing around with every woman on the world, but they're married, that word gets around. All of a sudden, Larry's group they're all womanizers. They're all, cheaters. They're all, I don't want to be labeled like that. So,
and then, of course, that would get back to your significant other.
Oh, yeah.
And even though maybe you're not partaking, now that thought's there,
right,
you're already dead.
Right.
You're dead in the water. You might as well just,
Yeah. So, Richard, when Richard Street was alive and we needed singers to come in and take some of the guys' places, he would always ask me to qualify them in a certain way. And I've always been a good people person. I can look at you and talk to you for 30 minutes, and I can tell what you're about. I can tell what you bring to the table. I can tell if you're going to be a good fit in what we're doing. And that's important to have good guys around you. And my guys now, these guys here, Michael White, Greg Woods, Steve Wood, Terry Horn, Gary Sams, these guys are all good guys. They're good-hearted, hardworking, talented, good guys. They all have respect for their relationships, and they don't do problems, they don't do drugs, they don't drink, they don't do stupid stuff, and they bring it. They believe in what we're doing. They believe in the project.
Well, you know what they say, you are who you are around.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I see a lot of the bad and the negative happen. The drug use, the cheating, and everything is the after party. What happens after you perform? Do you go out or do you go back to the hotel? Or what was your routine?
Those days are way over for me. Way over for me. When I get done, after I fulfill my obligation,
Take a nap?
after I fulfill my obligation of shaking hands and signing autographs, because that's what you're supposed to do. After that, the after party is at home, sitting and chilling with my feet up, having a glass of wine, sitting on the porch with my girl, talking and winding down. Because the after parties, to me, they weren't really terrible, but it was just another thing to do, to be out to meet people. And the women would try to sneak in backstage and get your number and try to flirt with you, and all of that stuff is so old news for me, man. I think I'm too old. I've done it, been there, done all that. I just want to do my show, have a good response, go home, and kind of get my rest, to keep my youthful face and get my beauty rest.
Pull up tab 6, Rob.
Huh?
I was just telling him to pull up a cool tab about you. So now when you're doing all this and you're in another country, how about the food?
Oh,
you must have eaten some really interesting stuff.
Interesting, especially in places like Japan. The food can be. I got a very delicate stomach, so I got to really watch what I put in my
you got
stomach.
a sensitive stomach, and he's
Gotta
got a
watch
sensitive stomach, and he's torn worldwide.
Yeah,
boy, you better have a lot of.
I ate a lot. I ate a lot of white rice. White rice and shrimp, and soups and stuff like that. But different countries have different foods. Even in Greece, we did Greece, Cyprus, Greece, and we did a tour there. I was there for about a week, and I ate a lot of vegetables. A lot of things that I knew that I recognized. because some things you don't recognize. You know, I'm not eating that. You know, oh, try it, it's good. I'll pass. You know, but it was fun. It was fun. But you got a chance to try new things in other countries. You know, which is cool for me. But I tried it once. If I liked it, it was cool. If I didn't like it, you know.
Our comedian friend, he went to China, and he went in. David, of all people, he's a real funny. His father's actually the real Frank Lucas from American Made.
Oh, okay.
But real cool guy. Never brings it up. Never uses that for his comedian stuff, like to get a push.
Yeah.
He's David. So he's touring in China. He goes to the bathroom, and he just happens to look down when he goes to the bathroom, and there's a pig down there that's eating what he's going to the bathroom, right? Yeah. So then so as he's walking out, he orders chicken, and as he's walking out, there's these live chickens, and the chef is just going wham,
Fresh meat, man.
Fresh meat, and he's not used to any. He's just from California and Texas, and so he's not used to that. So he's like, "What in the hell?" So then he walks away from that, and I mean, then they go up to him and they say, "Look, when you perform, you could say anything you want, but don't say a word about the Chinese government." Because I don't know if you'll make it out.
Oh, yeah.
And they weren't kidding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had a scenario like that when I was with Ali Woodson's Temptations over in, where were we? We were in somewhere near the Russia vicinity. It was one of the countries right next to that.
Maybe Poland or Ukraine, whatever.
I can't remember now, but all I remember is they told us don't leave the hotel after 6 p.m. because you may not come back. You may get kidnapped. And I was just like, what am I doing here? Don't leave the hotel after 6 p.m. And you could see some of the buildings had been bombed, and it was, I forgot
Bosnia,
what it was.
maybe? Bosnia?
It was something like
Serbia?
if I had my passport, I could tell you.
Yeah.
But I don't remember now. But it was over there. It was over in that area, and that was scary for me.
Yeah, my boy David, he started going through his notes, and any joke that he had, he was like, hey, do you think is this anything government related? He was worried because they don't play over there, boy.
Yeah, no. Never been to China. I've always wanted to go, but I've never been there. But going to Japan and then I've been to Guam, which was really cool.
What was Guam like? I've never heard anything about Guam.
Beautiful place.
So you fly into Guam. What's Guam look like? Flat? Bars,
little bitty island, very tropical, very
hot as can
beautiful.
be.
It was hot, and it was cool. That's one thing I can say about touring with Richard Street. Seeing the world with him was just like really cool. It just took a long time to get there. That flight was like 23 hours.
Wow!
I had to go from I think Florida to San Francisco to Tokyo to Guam. It was the craziest thing. Flying all day like that.
I don't even know where Guam is. I just know whenever you say something, like when somebody's late,
you're
like, where are you coming from? Guam?
It's over near Hawaii. It's in one of those islands in that Hawaii area, over in that area,
We'll Google it before you go.
Yeah, Google
because we'll go nuts looking for it.
Yeah, it was a great.
But tell me about this that you got going on that we referred to. Everyone in the planet knows Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Man,
you're in a cave if you don't. If you're 10 and you can talk, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, that's another Michael Yorkel Productions that he put together these projects for us, and he thought what better tribute to do than one of the hottest groups to ever exist. So came up with the name Elements, and we're touring all over the country doing that, and it's nothing like Earth, Wind, and Fire music, man. People love it.
Is that a trailer there, kind of?
Yeah, that's the promo.
Yeah, play that, Rob.
Yeah, that's the promo that we put together, and just people love this music, man.
Man, buddy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Do you have a routine that you do before you sing? Like before you go on stage, some people, I know Usher, I used to always think it was just because he was Usher.
Mm-hmm.
He always eats red gummy bears, and for some reason it coats his throat. And I always thought that he wanted the red because he was Usher and wanted red.
You're right.
But it was actually the red, whatever chemical was in there, like
Yeah.
red O2.
Yeah.
It would kind of coat his throat. Do you have anything like that?
I don't do a ritual per se. There's certain things that I do that I know I can warm my voice up to get my voice ready, and of course I got to stretch. Being as old as I am, you still got to stretch. I still try to play sports and stuff and a little basketball with my son, and so you got to stretch. But I don't really have a ritual that I do. Gargle, one of my favorites. People always wonder how I sing so high.
Yeah, that's right.
It's really funny. I was over in Japan with Stevie Wonder back in 1996 touring. One of my closest friends was one of Stevie Wonder's background singers, and I went over to hang out with them for a while, or just went from city to city with them. And Earth, Wind & Fire ended up being in the same country, crisscrossing the country, or Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind & Fire. We ended up in the same hotel one day.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to breakfast, and who walks on the elevator but Philip Bailey from Earth, Wind & Fire. So long story short, they invited me to go to the concert with them that night. And so I'm riding to the concert with Maurice White on this side of me and Philip Bailey on this side of me. Wow. And we're just talking and riding to the concert. We get to the concert, the arena. Philip Bailey takes his laminate off of his neck, puts it around my neck. Go have fun. Do what you want to do. And I'm walking around with Philip Bailey's laminate. Says Philip Bailey on it, which gets me access to anywhere
where you want to go.
Yeah, so it was a cool memory. And
I would have said, do I have to give it back?
I made sure I gave it back.
Yeah.
But to do this now,
yeah,
after that kind of memory in 1996, another thing, full circle, man.
Yep.
It's cool. These musicians behind me, these guys have played with, and they're like my little brothers, man. The drummer, Dyrell Brown, Joel Brown, Tavares Natic, William Gamble. Those guys have been with me for years. They're like my little brothers now. And they're some of the best musicians you'll ever hear. They're so amazing, and they really support me. They've supported me for years. And we got the greatest horn section ever. You got to have a good horn section for Earth, Wind & Fire.
Yeah.
Al Shkaley, Brian Gill, those guys, Ruben Caban, those guys they blow those horns. In fact, next time we do a concert, I would love to invite you guys to come see us.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Get you guys some tickets and come down. It's really cool.
And like you said, when you're doing something like Earth, Wind & Fire, that better be right.
Oh,
right?
It's got to be right. In fact, mark your calendars, guys, for December 17th. It's a free concert at the Abacoa Amphitheater in Jupiter. You ever been there?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing our Earth, Wind & Fire concert there on Saturday, December 7th. People bring lawn chairs, blankets, sit down, and, man, it's a good time.
I think this is going to crush.
I want you to be there. I would love to see you there, man.
I'll be there.
Come up and say hi. I'll shout you out from the stage.
Please do.
That would be fun. But, yeah, we're going to be there. It's coming up soon, and it's free. And I think it's going to be a great show.
Now, what gives you the ideas to come up with these new events all the time? Right here, we just off the rip, 3 new events.
Yeah.
What gives you the idea, or just to keep pumping these ideas like Earth, Wind & Fire?
Yeah.
What made you think of that?
Well,
just the history, or your history, or what?
Yeah, working with Michael Yerkel, who actually used to book us and manage us when I was with Richard Street's Temptations. So we go way, way back in the early 2000s. We go way back. So Michael Yerkel is actually the innovator of all of these new projects. He's based up in Boston, and he comes up with these ideas, and then he reaches out to people who he feels reliable, who can handle his ideas. And he came to me and said, Larry, let's do this. Larry, let's do this. Larry, let's do this. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. So it kind of puts me in charge, but it's his brainchild. He comes up with the ideas, and he still manages us. He still promotes us and markets us and books us, and he has many other groups that he manages as well. Comes up with a lot of different tributes in his camp, and but he is the brainchild behind all of this.
What a steal, huh?
Yeah, he's awesome.
Those are great ideas.
Yeah, and we work together real well. He trusts me to hit a home run whenever I get on stage. He just said the other day, he sent me a text today, Larry, thanks again for doing what you do. Thanks for hitting the home run again. You leave him standing, shouting, wanting more. So he trusts me. Sometimes he don't even show up. He don't come to me though, because he knows I'm there.
Yeah.
He knows I'm going to handle it. So
in other words, he lets you know, hey, Larry, a curveball is coming.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then you just got to hit it.
Yep. And
that's a great team.
And
huh?
he trusts me to deliver, and we've been doing well so far.
Now, when you read tenure, like first tenure, what does that mean? To someone who has no idea what that means. Like if someone says first tenure vocalist or first tenure...
You mean first tenor.
There you go. There you go. That's why I asked.
First tenor, yes.
I've heard it before but never asked what it was. I just skipped it. So I'm asking the legend here.
As a man, thank you for saying that.
Well, shit, you're keeping it moving.
People say I'm a legend. It humbles me when I hear that. I hear it a lot, but it humbles me.
And I hope it keeps you driving.
No, it does. It does. The first tenor vocal is, in a man, most men talk in a baritone voice because we're men. We have a lower tone. But if you're able to achieve a falsetto, which is what Prince sings, Prince, Eddie Kendricks, Russell Tompkins are the stylistics, those high first tenor voice, for high notes, that's considered your first tenor. It's more of a falsetto that we men have. And people are amazed at me because my speaking voice is baritone. And I can sing Barry White. I can do Barry White voice. This is my Barry White voice, man. But I can also sing the first tenor. I can do the I can do the high stuff as well. So it's fortunate to have a nice range like that. But the first tenor, people consider it that sweet note, that real silky smooth, a sweet, pretty note on the top of the vocal. Then your second tenor carries the melody of the song. It's usually your melody singer, the second tenor, and then the baritone or the third part in the group cushions the harmony and completes the three-part harmony. So you got the top, first tenor, second tenor is the melody, baritone is the cushion, the third note. And then you got a bass singer, and some groups throw in 5-6-part harmony, like Manhattan Transfer, Temptations were good at it, but that first tenor voice, I've been very blessed. It's got me a long way. It's got me in doors that I never thought I would get in before.
Like Grammy doors, maybe?
Not yet. I've held a few Grammys. Richard gave me some Grammys to hold, but I've never won one. But
you toured with the guy who won a few.
I've toured with two guys that have won Grammy Awards, and that right there is a blessing in itself.
Yeah, for them to pick you, two different guys. I mean, Grammy Awards.
Yeah. And
back then, Grammy Award, that really meant something back then.
It was a big deal. It was a big deal. Richard got 3 of them. And Barrington got one, and here I've been on stage with those guys. I've also toured with Theo Peoples as well. Theo Peoples is the only man in history to sing lead with both the Temptations and the Four Tops. No other man has ever done that. And to do a tour with him, so now we can do a tribute to the Temptations and the Four Tops, legitimate tribute, because he was actually in both groups. Not a tribute, a legitimate review, because he was in both groups. So it's been a blessing for me, man. It's been cool.
I know who Theo Peoples is. Did you know who he was?
I heard the name.
I know he because of my mom.
Yeah.
But he was with the Four Tops, a bunch of others. And again, I just know this because of my grandparents.
I took Levi's place in the Four Tops.
I don't understand. I mean, just for my generation, my generation at my age, his name isn't out there. Like, Rob's kind of like, I've heard of it, And again, I only know it because of my parents.
Yeah.
But why do you think the name never kept going toward my generation? Like, I was born in 82.
Yeah.
So, I knew who Larry Johnson was before him. I knew who Larry Johnson was.
Oh.
I knew Motown. I knew Temptations. I knew all that shit. Well, I grew up with it,
Yeah, thank you.
But, these you don't hear that name like you do the others.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think what happened, the Temptations have had so many different members. I think there's been 25, 26
That many
different members of the Temptations. So the general public kind of forgets all those different people. And unless you're an avid Temptation fan who follows the Temptations, those people would know who all these different singers are. But the general Motown Temptations fan probably won't remember a lot of the people past the initial Classic Five, Otis, Paul, Melvin, David, Eddie, and then Dennis Edwards took David Ruffin's place. Damon Harris took Eddie Kendrick's place. Richard Street took Paul Williams' place. So those replacements were more popular than the replacements that are in now. As far as when you step out on your own and become a solo artist, sometimes the general public don't receive you like they did when you were with the Temptations, because they love the Temptations. And even though those guys are amazingly talented and come up with Theo Barrington, they all have Glenn Leonard, they all have their own CDs and original music out, and I have them all, and they're great CDs, but they just never really took off because I think the general public just don't associate them outside of the Temptations. And it's tough. It's tough to get on a major Bruno Mars level when you were in the Temptations, who's huge up here, but then when you're not with the group anymore, it's hard to get back up there again. It's difficult.
It makes sense. Like, putting Rob in as Bruno Mars. Maybe Rob is just as good, but he's not the
Bruno
original
Mars.
Bruno
That's
Mars, right?
Yeah,
that makes sense. And then some of the others that came along, like you're more charismatic, I think, and outgoing. So the reason why I know you are my parents, but also I saw Larry Johnson pop up online on like a flyer or something like that when I moved down there. That's how I read when he had mentioned Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson, how do I know that? First I thought basketball player. This episode is sponsored by Aurora. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is? For years, this crime rate has been surging and affecting millions of Americans. I'm talking about identity theft, and there's a new victim every 14 seconds. Yet despite this, those who have had their identity stolen are often shocked when it happens. That's why I'm excited to partner with Aurora, who is sponsoring this video. Aurora is identity theft protection, fraud monitoring, a VPN, password management, and antivirus software all into one easy-to-use app. Their VPN allows you to stay anonymous online by keeping your browsing history and personal information safe and encrypted. Protect you and your family from America's fastest growing crime. Try Aurora for free for 2 weeks and see if you or anyone in your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial today. Go to aurora.com/MSCS. The link is in the description below.
I used to get mistaken for that a lot.
That's not always a bad thing.
No, he got a lot more millions.
That's the bad part.
Grandmama,
Yeah, but he made a killing off that grandmama.
Oh, man.
That was the right decision on that one.
I tell you a little story real quick. We were in Las Vegas performing with Richard Street's Temptations. In the same hotel was the Charlotte Hornets. Wait a minute, was it? No, we were in Charlotte. I'm sorry. We were in Charlotte. No, I got to take that back. We're in Las Vegas. Larry Johnson played for the University of Las Vegas. Big basketball fans in Las Vegas, right? So I'm checking into the hotel in Las Vegas, and the guy at the front desk notices my name. Oh, man, Larry Johnson, what a cool name, because he was very popular in Las Vegas at the time. So I get to my room, and I got to remember the story. I forget the story, but all I remember is a television reporter called in my room saying, "You need to be downstairs in 30 minutes for an interview." And I'm like, "Huh? You got the right room? This is Larry Johnson, right?" I said, "Yeah." Well, you have to be your manager, promoter, signed you up for a television interview, and I'm just reminding you got to be here in 30 minutes. And I'm like, I'm not the guy. That's not me. You're thinking about the other Larry. But I think he happened to be in the same hotel some reason doing something, and they got the rooms mixed up, which was a pretty cool story for me. So it's been a while since I told. I got to remember the exact particulars of it, but it was pretty cool.
What's a real funny story like that happened throughout the years? You got to have a couple that are just funny as hell,
Yeah, well, that was one. That was
a good. That has to be a good one.
I think touring with Richard Street's Temptations and being like his little brother, his right-hand man, I think a lot of people in the music industry associate me with Richard Street, which helped me get my name on another level. So, but I'm trying to think. Richard had his way about him. He could be a little mean sometimes, and those guys coming from the Temptations and not being in the Temptations anymore, they cracked the whip. They wanted to make sure it was right all the time. So, he would be yelling at the sound men and yelling at the get this mic right and do this and do this, and I'm saying to myself, Richard, you really don't want to do that because these guys are the ones responsible for us hearing ourselves so we can sing tonight. Don't piss them off. Don't make them mad. So I would always go behind him. Look, he didn't mean it. He's just a little irritated. We've been traveling. He's tired. He didn't mean it. Just to smooth things over so these guys would be good to us at showtime, So, but that was one of those stories. And, man, I'm trying to think anything that really grabbed me. And when I leave here, a lot of stuff will roll into my head because I have so many.
How many any celebrities that you like perform for, or people that superstars, athletes, movie stars, anybody that you can recall that you performed for over the years?
I've met so many.
Yeah,
I've met so many over the years, but touring with different members of the Temptations, I consider those guys to be the utmost celebrities to me.
Yeah,
and even Theo with the Four Tops, and then the Four Tops are they're the friends of mine. Roki and Duke and all those guys, Ronnie, they're friends of mine. I perform with them on different levels, and but nobody in particular. I remember being with Horizon. We did a thing with Samuel L. Jackson. Got a picture with him, and but I was in awe of Richard Street and Ollie Woodson growing up. So to be on stage with those two guys was a dream come true for me. And I remember listening to a song called Heavenly. I was 16 years old, and it was one of my favorite Temptation songs. Richard Street sang the lead. Damon Harris did the first tenor part. And it was one of my favorite songs before I even met Richard Street, before I even knew who. And I ended up being on stage with Richard Street, who's the original lead singer of that song, performing that song in Los Angeles, me singing the Damon Harris part on that song. So you're talking about a dream come true? To perform that song with the original lead singer of it, it was like I was in awe of that. And that's been one of my aha moments for me. Like, oh my God, I did it. I actually sang one of my favorite songs of all time with the original lead singer of that song. It was just a great, crazy thing for me.
Mind-blowing, right?
Mind-blowing, mind-boggling. And those are the little tidbits that I can, share with the general public that kind of get me where I am and keep me humble. Because those things don't happen to just anybody and everybody. There's people keep saying, I need to write a book. Write a book. When you going to write your book? You need to come out with a book. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I should.
Might want to get that pen out.
I might. Yeah. I have a guy, a big-time publisher. He keeps telling me, when you're ready, let's do it. So, maybe this is a
might be a good time.
Green light to do it.
Green light that, turn that into a documentary.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
It'd be
fun.
You'll be all over again. You'll be in Japan again. Eating rice.
Eating white rice. Gotta have the white rice. It was fun.
Larry, when did you notice that like Motown or music in general started to take a shift? For a while there, it was a lot of Motown, and then what came next? Rock and roll kind of moved in.
Yeah.
Well, when did you see Motown kind of fade out in a sense, and then, just the new stuff evolved? What evolved, and when did you start to see it, and then when did you really see it?
It was hard for me because I was such a Motown fan, so it never went away from me. I think the general public probably in the 80s, mid-70s, 80s, it started to fade just a little bit. But I think because of my generation and the generation before me, it made such an impact on those generations, and they kept playing the music anyway, even though it faded and lost its luster a little bit. But it's nothing like Motown sound.
Awesome. And
these people were still playing it, so the kids would hear it, so they would like it, and they would start playing it. So to me, it never really changed. It never faded. When you mention you doing Motown, people's face light up. Oh my God, Motown. I love Motown. And then you get certain people that it's all about Bruno Mars and Beyonce and the people that are current right now. And then I'll go to certain 20-year-olds and be like, well, I've done some things with former members of the Temptations. And they were like, who is that? Then I'll say, well, I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. Yeah. And they're like, oh, that's great.
They don't even know who it is.
Oh, my girl. Okay, yeah, I remember that song, but I didn't know it was the Temptations, So that's how they relate to us. But,
what moved in on you guys, though? What moved in? So Motown's number one everything.
Yeah.
Let's just say at the time.
Yeah.
What genre of music did you see start coming in first?
I think disco.
Disco, really?
Disco came in the 70s, came out of New York and became really popular. So Motown kind of was still chugging along, and the heyday was in the 60s, of course. Everything was huge back then. And then still doing things in the 70s, and and even the oldest in the group, they've maintained years, 60-something years of longevity, still doing Temptations tours and still selling them out to this day.
Yeah.
Because the music never dies. To me, it never died. But disco kind of shifted in. It became really, really popular. And then after disco, then it shifted into the pop era. And then pop started becoming really popular. Rock was real cool. It was going along even back in the 60s with the Rolling Stones, and the Beatles would come over. So that was real popular alongside Motown.
So rock was right there with you
it was
guys.
going
So that
along.
was already
Yeah.
So the two or three things then were Motown, rock, and what country?
Yeah, country.
Right.
Country was strong as well. And they're coming out of the doo-wop age, the oldies in the 50s and stuff like that. The big band days in the 30s and the 40s shifted into the doo-wop days, which shifted into the Motown R&B
Doo-wop.
days.
I even know the doo-wop.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's another one that nobody ever doesn't remember the doo-wop.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep,
Well,
yep.
I think nowadays too, like you have I'm a huge Boyz II Men fan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And-
Motown,
and,
Philly,
so
back
they
again.
kept it alive, and maybe a generation had no idea what Motown was. Kind of gave them a little
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing, I heard on the radio the other day randomly. So Elton John is done now, I guess, or he's on his world, going away tour, finished. He's had 2 songs now. Like Britney Spears and him are doing "Hold Me Closer, Tiny Dancer."
Yeah.
So he's almost passing on to this wave of kids who probably don't even know who Elton John is, which is sad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's going out, he's going away. He made enough money, so he's probably keeping these songs alive, or this thing alive, through other artists that kids relate to now. So it's kind of smart, I think, in that way too.
Yeah. A few artists did that, like Tony Bennett, Stevie Wonder. They're doing things with some of the newer artists now, which is smart.
Yeah.
But those artists respect them enough to be able to feature them on their recording because they created a legacy. Who's calling me? Leave me alone. I'm in the middle of an interview.
Rob, I think we're gonna see a lot more of that. A lot more remixes. Kind of like we had Kalen Chasen from Korn. He used to be with Korn and Vimic, and he just did a remix in his kind of rock or whatever genre you want to call it of Katy Perry.
Yeah. Oh.
And I mean, it was really good. He did it live and it was really good. So I think we're going to see some of the Motown coming back, maybe as a hook to something.
But
because
people are still sampling the music.
Yeah.
They find certain catchy parts of these old Motown songs and they sample it into the new stuff, which is keeping the legacy alive in a sense. But I think more and more people. I've been approached many times to do a old school meets new school project. And I've always wanted to remake Ball of Confusion, because the world was in a ball of confusion back in the late 60s, and the world is still in a ball of confusion to this day. I use that in my concerts when I'm on stage. The world is still in a ball of confusion. So that's a song that I've always wanted to do a remake and redo. And I've had a few people approach me, let's do it old school with a current rapper like Pitbull or somebody, or to do the rap and keep it current to this millennium, but also do, pay tribute to the Motown sound, which was huge back then. It's a great song,
you should do that.
Yeah,
So I don't know. That may be in the projects down the line. Something I might end up doing. You never know. My girl likes me to sing "Ooh Baby Baby." I might end up remaking.
I guess you'll be making "Ooh Baby Baby."
I might have to
then.
remake that one too. She loves that song. So.
Now, being that you've been around, right? When you look at today and just coming up, is this the worst you've seen the country right now?
Unfortunately, yeah. It's been tough, man. This whole thing has been so disappointing. But I always tell people, we share a common love in music, and music is a universal language, and it makes people happy. So when you're feeling sad, you're feeling down and out, most people might pop on the music, their favorite record, and it just takes that away for a minute. But it's tough. This whole COVID thing shut us down for a year. Nobody was working. It was tough, man.
Yeah.
Never seen nothing like it before.
And you as a performer, that COVID must have really
Knocked me
put
out.
a dent right
Knocked me out.
right in your head.
Yeah, it's been really hard, but things are starting to pick up again.
How long were you down for, Larry? How long was it? I mean, luckily we're in Florida, so we had a little bit of a benefit. But how long would you say you guys were kind of down and out for, where
I lost
you couldn't
work.
get the whole band to come or whatever it may be?
All that stopped.
How long was it until you really could get back out like you had been prior to waking up and all of a sudden everything's closed?
I'm thinking a good 9-10 months of just not doing anything.
That's a dent.
It was down. We were down for a while. I lost a lot of work. If I pull up my schedule and look at past performances, and I put canceled by each one of them you can see it. It's a whole list of them, pages.
I won't pull it up. We're two floors up. I won't pull it up. And there's a window right there. I don't want to be here.
No, it was disheartening to look at that and see that. But everything happened for a reason, man. And I think sometimes maybe I needed to rest. Maybe I needed to be off my feet for a little while and stop performing, which adds longevity to my career. So maybe now I can perform longer, and maybe that gave me a chance to sit back and contemplate some things in my life or what I'm trying to do and get myself together, grow as a person, grow as a man, get things together. I looked at it as a positive to work on myself and get myself better and make myself a better person, But it was tough financially, boy. Woo. It was hard.
I bet.
But yeah, the country right now is so divided, man. It's just disappointing.
Really is.
To see the division, Democrats, Republicans, and I'm not getting into that whole political thing.
No.
But, race relations and, now you got the LGBTQ community and they want to be accepted, and you got people that don't want to accept them. And I'm like, well, look, we're people. We're all people. Let's love everybody, man. We all bleed the same color. Love everybody. Let's love them all. Everybody is a person, and you got to respect that person for who they are, what they do, and what they believe in, and love on them anyways.
But you know what? It's almost like they purposely divide.
I know.
Throw little shots, darts out there.
Yep. Keep us depressed.
To keep us suppressed.
Keep
right?
the country suppressed, so they can control you. I shouldn't say that. I'm not getting into political things.
No political. No,
I didn't say that.
Yeah, no.
And I tell people too, man, you control what's around you.
Yeah.
You control your own circle. Forget about what's going on in everybody else's. But I know some people disagree with that because there's a lot of people who want to protest and stuff like that, and I've never really been into that. As long as I take care of my family, my kids, what's going on around me and my world, and I'm going to be in my happy place, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah, and that's all. Just worry about you. Right?
I can't change the world. I can't, but I can make them feel good for 2.5 minutes when I'm singing My Girl. And I can make them feel good, so that's what I can control, and as long as I'm doing that, I think I'm doing what God gave me the gift to do.
And like you said, this isn't political, but just an example of how nutty it is. Obviously I copied off Joe Rogan, not because just I like the style. So, 11, 13 years in, because he's going against them, they chop up a bunch of racist so-called things over 13 years. But they don't mention that the person sitting across from him is a comedian who's an African-American, and they're joking around saying what someone may call racist, but they're just joking. But they chop it to make him look like a racist, then that puts more divide in. Right? When we're trying to get away from all that.
Social media is dangerous.
It's deadly.
Powerful.
I hate it.
Powerful and dangerous.
I absolutely hate it.
Yeah, it can ruin you in a heartbeat,
and your life.
Yeah, it's hard.
I see these people with that phone 24/7.
That's why I tell my people, everybody's got a cell phone these days, and they can whip it out on you at a moment's notice, and before you know it, you're all over social media, making a mistake or saying something wrong, and you can't take it back. It's out there now.
And now your reputation's dead, or the cops are at the door. One of the two, right? And if it's your girl that caught you, the cops are at the door, and you're not winning.
It's a no-win situation for sure.
And she could duplicate that 17 times and twist it, and her friends got 10 more pictures, and you're done for, buddy.
Oh man.
You got a
That's
cool
awesome.
Instagram. Let's go through Instagram a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
anything you want me to play, we'll play. There's some cool stuff on here.
No, I just kind of share my. That was just this past Monday in Columbus, Georgia.
That's a great picture.
Yeah, we put that together. You know, like I said, it's a fun thing, and I just like sharing my life with, you know, my fans and the people who support me. So I usually post where I'm performing that week. With that was a great concert over here with Candy Rivers at the Gulfstream Casino down in
Play that one, Rob.
Hallandale. Yeah.
This one here.
Yep, play that one.
Yeah, no, it's not a video. It's just a picture.
Oh,
You know, and that both of those pictures are from the same concert. Even that one down there as well. But we had such a great time. The audience loved us.
nice setup too.
That's actually Muhammad Ali's son. That's Muhammad Ali
is that
Jr.
right?
Yeah. He came up to the
Wow.
stage to say hello, and
What an honor, huh?
yeah, it was cool meeting him. You know, I know his ex-wife Kalila really well. She supports us really well, but that was the crowd. It was a
That's a great setup, too.
it was a great night. We had so much fun, and it got me noticed down in that area. You know, south of here. Most of my stuff locally is Palm Beach Gardens, West Palm Beach area, but you know, we're starting to filter into the Hallandale, Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, which is cool, you know. But yeah, that concert was so much fun.
I
So
love
much
the
fun.
outfit, man. Love it.
Yeah, I was just gonna tell him that first
What?
picture. If you're ever single, that's the one you put as your profile. the very first one, Rob. Go back.
Even that one.
No, you got to show off that,
That
one.
one.
You go like that.
Yeah.
You make that your profile. You say, "Come here, baby.
Yeah.
Should be right. Now, let me sing you some Earth, Wind, and Fire, my baby, and watch these feet. And watch me move. Now imagine what I can do."
Yeah, no,
No, I'm just kidding, Larry. You look great.
that photographer Isaac Rodriguez, amazing photographer.
How much you
man.
pay him for these pictures,
You know,
Larry?
he-
Larry, how much you pay him to make you look
Did-
that good?
He did them as a gratis. He
That's
did it
awesome.
for free for us.
Good for you.
Another person who supports us, loves us, and does it just to help us out. And he's an awesome photographer.
Well, Larry, what'd you say in the beginning? When you treat people right,
That's right.
good things
it
come
comes
back.
It always comes back around for sure.
The one and only therapist that I would ever go to told me if you put good energy into the universe, it will come back.
Yeah, man. Yes, it does. It always does.
The one and the only.
And
Yep.
then these are all the different places you're at. The
Yep.
Islander.
Yep.
That's over.
I was just
Singer
there
Island.
last night. Islander Grill. Me and the two girls. We were there last night. Had a good time. We've been there every Wednesday for the last 8 or 9 years.
Good for you.
And then where else are you going? You said Waterway.
Waterway Cafe will be there October 6th.
I'll tell you what, they're good. They got good food there.
Yeah,
You ever go
I
there?
haven't been there in a while, but yeah.
It's a great venue. We love it there, and we hope we can keep it going for years and years and years. They're getting ready to renovate, and it's going to be a beautiful spot. But we're there on Thursdays, and I got Salute Market on the last Friday of every month at the Salute Market in Palm Beach
Oh, yeah, that's
Gardens.
good. I got good food there.
Amazing food.
Yeah.
You ever had the burger?
And they switch up their food a lot, though.
Oh,
like
try to. If you're a burger eater, try the
Yeah.
burger there. It's the best I've ever
Yeah.
had ever.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Salute.
Salute Market.
Michelle and I can't remember.
Yeah,
her husband's
Michelle
name.
and Rob. The
Yeah,
owners.
that was it.
Good people.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was my very first record that I down Endless Possibilities. That was my very first.
Back to the vinyl, huh?
Yeah, vinyl, man. That was my first record contract. The guys from Horizon did the background, and that was our little promo. Look at now that's going way back.
Look at that stash.
Ooh, look at that mustache.
Larry, what do you call the thing that thing there? What do you call that one?
We used to call that the prudential piece of the rock. That's Earl Vincent, amazing dancer. I talk to him all the time. And that's my brother next to him, Jay Johnson, and then Rick Ingram is the one to the left who passed away. But these guys, this is before Horizon. That's Cool Gang. That's Robert Cool in the Gang.
Oh,
That's him. That's the guy who came to see me perform that day. So that's what I was talking about when he came to see me perform, and to potentially be the lead singer of Cool in the Gang, replace J.T.
That's
Taylor. He
cool.
came to see us perform. And that's him with my dad and my dad's wife, my stepmom, Venora. That's Robert Cool Bell. That was a great moment.
Oh yeah.
Being there, just for him to come see me, it was cool. 28 years old.
How important are pictures, huh? Keep the memories.
Keep the memories alive forever. It's my beautiful sister right there, Cheryl, in the black, and that's family photo right there.
That's awesome.
What do you got? 1, 2, 3. What do you got? 3 brothers, 1 sister.
No, one brother.
One brother.
One blood brother and one sister. I call a lot of other people my brothers.
Yeah.
You know, those are my brothers in love. You know,
Because they are really in love.
my
It's not
brothers.
blood.
Yeah, but I only have one blood brother because Jay and one. I sing a lot with Carmen Medina as well. She's amazing, but you guys have probably seen her around town. She is one of the best vocalists around. She's really, really talented, and we do a lot of stuff as a duo. Me, her, and me and Candy Rivers also, who's another amazing singer. That's my daughter right there. That's Michael Yerkel. That's the guy who I was telling you about.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's my baby girl right there.
Congratulations on your daughter, buddy.
Isn't she beautiful?
Yep.
That
She'll always be your mini-me, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right. And Michael Yerkel, the guy who brainstormed all of these projects that I'm a part of. That's him right there.
I seen him get crazy. In the black, go back right?
Greg.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Greg.
Greg. Yeah.
Now, I remember seeing him maybe because of the bald head.
Yeah,
My man, he can move.
Oh yeah. Him and
Yeah.
Michael, they're amazing dancers and singers and just talented guys. Good to have. They call them my little brothers. Glad to have them around me on stage with me. They're really good.
Yeah.
Gary Sam's another one who completes the project. That's my son right there, Joe. He's my youngest. That's my baby boy right there. He's 25 now. He'd be 26 in
25.
yeah, that's him when he was a baby. That's my boy right there. In fact, we're gonna meet for lunch after we leave here. We're gonna go and get a little lunch. Him and his beautiful girlfriend Nisha.
Oh, that's so cool.
Adrian Jones, his dad was in Heat Wave. He's another singer that I use sometimes in some of my shows. This dude is an amazing entertainer.
Belts it out.
Dancer, singer, energy, unbelievable vocalist. You guys ever get a chance to see him perform? Watch this guy. He's amazing. And I have him come up and perform with my girls at the Islander Grill whenever I have a tour on a Wednesday. He'll come up and sing with the girls, and they turn it out.
You got to get into the meat market.
You know, I've been meaning to try to get in over there. In fact, I talked to Greg Jackson, a friend of mine, and Mark Morrison, try to get me in over there as well. So maybe in season.
Yeah, our buddy Josh can definitely get you in.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, Josh Sagman. If you saw him, you know who he is. I guarantee it.
Probably.
You probably just don't know him by name.
Yeah, that's my crew over there. That's my crew.
That's your team.
Yeah, Dee Dee McFadden, Stephanie Grace, those girls started with me when I first started performing locally here in Florida. And Dee Dee is so talented. The girl plays drums. She plays
drums?
She was a drummer in her band in Hawaii for 20-something years.
Whoa!
Yeah, knows
Good
Bruno
her.
Mars and all of them. She plays guitar, ukulele, bass. She's really talented.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't hear that too often, you know?
Not too often. No. So
Now, Larry, if somebody wants to book you, say they want to book you for, you and your guys for a private event. You know, they're having a wedding, birthday, whatever it may be. Go to your website and contact you.
LJSisMotown.com. It has my contact information. Excuse me. It has my contact information, my phone number, has my schedule. They can see my schedule, see the open dates. And we do so many private parties. Oh, I'm getting called. I'm so blessed. Even though the regular local stuff has slowed down a lot, I'm getting 2-3 calls a week for new bookings, and obviously we're doing something good,
I'll tell you what, to be getting 2-3 bookings a week when you go to the gas pump and you're paying $5-6 some places. You want to talk about blessed and you're getting booked for private parties, buddy?
My phone, I got a booking.
You're doing something right,
yesterday.
my man.
Yeah, we have a lot with them. So if anybody ever needs any like holiday parties or birthday parties, anniversary parties, weddings, bar mitzvahs, all that stuff. We do all that stuff. Corporate events. I got a big thing coming up for the National Trial Lawyers down in Miami Beach in January. That's going to be a lot of fun. And doing something at the Breakers coming up in October.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, we do a lot of stuff at Trump National. A lot of stuff. We did a big thing right next door to Michael Jordan's house.
Oh, yeah?
In Jupiter, yeah. And he was invited. And I would have loved to meet him. I mean, that's one of my dreams come true, to meet Michael Jordan.
Hell yeah.
Because I'm the biggest basketball Michael Jordan fan. My son's name is Jordan.
Yeah.
And I'd like to tell people I named him after the River Jordan in the Bible, but really I was a Michael Jordan. And he had just won his 6th championship in 1997 when my son was born.
With the crossover. Forget about it. Good night.
Man, he was amazing. And he happened to be away when we were booked for that party at the house next door to him. But he was invited to come, but he was away at the time, so I never got a chance to meet him. But maybe one day I will. I would love to bump into him.
Didn't you perform for LT? Wasn't LT at one of your things?
Yeah, Lawrence Taylor. He comes into. I was doing a thing at Cafe Central.
That's right. I saw that.
And he would come in and support us there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How was he?
Just the nicest dude ever.
Yeah.
Would always put $100 bill in our tip jar. And just the nicest guy. I got him to sing My Girl with me. I had another microphone. I had my arm around him. I'm like, come on, LT, sing with me, you know. But it was really cool.
Are we going like this?
Yeah, he's a big dude. He's still a big dude.
I saw pictures of him recently.
Yeah.
He's bigger than these chairs, or wider than these chairs.
One of the best football players to ever put on pads.
Oh, yeah.
And his legacy still speaks for itself.
2 questions, and I'll let you get out of there and go have lunch, and you got to come back another time.
I would love to, man.
Awesome.
This is so
and we
much fun.
won't make it 4 times this time.
It's all good.
Who's the best quarterback of all time? Don't you say anything.
I'm not saying nothing.
Let me think about that for a quick second, because I'm a big football fan, and I'm more of a player fan versus a team fan. So I really got into sports a long time ago.
Quarterback. Best quarterback of all time.
Man, there's been so many. I mean, Joe Montana, Brett Favre, John Elway,
Brady,
Peyton Manning.
Tom Brady.
Wait, I was going to get to him. I was leading up to him.
Throw that ball last week.
I was leading up to him. Yeah, now that to me, being his age, coming from New England, winning all those championships, and then coming to Tampa Bay and being able to do the same thing at his age. But the biggest thing that why I'm a biggest Tom Brady fan is that he went to University of Michigan.
Yeah, there you go.
You're right,
Yeah.
Which is right down the street from where I went to college at Eastern Michigan University. But yeah, he's got to be the greatest of all time.
Larry,
Got to be.
In the 4th quarter against Dallas last week, I don't know if you watched it, but
I watched it.
Remember they showed one of the 4th quarter, he threw that ball perfectly in what's his name's hands. He missed it. Then they showed the same pass in 06, midway.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Rob, exactly the same. And he's 42, and he got hit more times.
Yeah.
Or 45.
He's 45 now.
45, yeah.
45. And he got hit more times than I've ever seen him get hit in 20 years of playing his first year at Tampa.
Yeah.
How about those first 6 games when he went to Tampa? I've never seen him get hit more in all of his career. And he won the championship.
Look at how many touchdowns he threw last year. Look how many touchdowns he threw last year and the year before. The dude is amazing, man. It just doesn't age. I thought he was done.
Me too.
And I thought he
was coming back.
I thought he was going to stink up the place. Like sometimes when those guys retire and they just can't stop and they come back, they don't do as well because you're used to seeing them in their prime. Tom Brady is still the man.
Still the man.
He's still the man. I enjoy watching him. In fact, I want to take a trip over to Tampa this season and watch a game.
I'll tell you what, if they can get Gronk to come back, they're winning.
Do you think that can happen? You think they're talking about it?
I think they're talking about it. I think he's saying, because they
Wait
had
till
a
playoffs probably. He's
well,
like, call me.
That
his
that would
receivers weren't
elevate.
catching the balls this last game, but he was getting protected.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd rather have the protection than
Yeah.
a couple missed passes, because they'll just throw it to that running back the whole time.
He got some nice weapons around him, and that offensive line is dialed in. They're taking good care of him.
They just need better
He got hit a couple of
receivers.
times. Yeah, well, they got Julio Jones now. If he can play like he did when he was in Atlanta, they're going to be amazing. And then Mike Evans, what can you say about him? That dude is amazing.
But the guy they just got, he missed a lot last week.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, well, don't believe me. They're
He's
going
still on Montana?
Still on Montana. Yeah.
All right. Last word, Larry.
I loved Montana.
Me too.
I love those San Francisco
But
49ers teams,
I
man.
just can't put anybody past Brady. I mean, the way this guy's
Because
playing.
Brady is current, and he's done it for so many years. But you got to admit, Rob, Montana, when he was doing his thing, man, he did some things that made your jaw drop. Like, whoa.
But he had Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice had that weapon.
I don't think Brady ever had anybody like Jerry Rice. You put Brady with the Jerry Rice, you're taking Brady to a whole nother level.
Well, I mean, in New England, he had Edelman and those guys. They were pretty
Rice,
good.
He had Moss for that 1 year, right? 2 years. I
Yeah,
think.
at the end.
Yeah.
You take Jerry Rice in his prime.
Yeah.
Give him to Brady. You don't need anybody else. Just protect him for
Scary.
2 seconds.
We'll see what happens this year.
That would be scary.
All right, closest player to Jordan. I'm biased, so I got to go with Kobe because I saw him work his ass off, and I had season tickets to the Lakers, so I
would say that. But I'm a lot older than you two guys. And I seen Penny Hardaway in his prime.
I watched Penny
Penny
Hardaway.
was
I
amazing.
had the shoes.
Yeah.
I've seen Grant Hill in his prime.
Oh, that's a guy that gets underrated because he got hurt.
So
Both of those
underrated.
guys, if they hadn't got hurt, they would have been right on Jordan's
Hill.
head.
Yeah, Grant
And-
Hill was.
But Jordan had the mentality, that winning mentality, like Kobe. Kobe brought that to the table as well. So those guys, the comparison is very accurate. LeBron James is amazing too, and I met him once. I met him. Took a picture with my kids. So, but yeah,
LeBron
Kobe-
just doesn't have that killer instinct, though.
but
and,
he's
and
super
clutch.
talented though. But,
Oh, yeah, you can't
but-
take anything away from him. But
yeah. I think a lot of his players are intimidated to play with him.
Yeah.
They don't play as well as they could normally play because they're a little intimidated because they want to do well because he's so good. And they don't bring their game. And LeBron is the first one in the locker room saying, I need you to be the guy that you are in at your other team. I need you to be him. Let's do that together and let's win this championship. So it's tough, but I'm a big fan as well. I love sports.
Yeah.
Good. Who do you think's the closest?
That's tough. I mean, yeah, Kobe, of course. I think it's what Larry said, that killer instinct, right? Like Jordan had it, Kobe had it.
Mhm.
Like a lot of the guys now, I'm not saying they don't have it, but they're worried about being the center of attention, money, and all that type of stuff. Now, Jordan was the center of attention, had the money, but he was, I want to win. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard nowadays. The guys aren't the same.
Well, our friend, he did a documentary on Dennis Rodman. He had Phil Jackson, Pippen, Jordan, everybody in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's held up for many different reasons. It will eventually come out, but it's held up.
Mm-hmm.
You know who Phil Jackson said the best player he ever coached was? Dennis Rodman.
Really?
He said Dennis Rodman.
And best athlete, he said.
Best athlete.
He was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
He was pretty amazing. When we had him in Detroit, it showed signs of his greatness then. When they won the back-to-back championships with Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas, we were on cloud nine in Detroit at that time, and Dennis Rodman played his role. And then when he left there, he just jumped a level, got with Michael Jordan, and he was unbelievably athletic, a heart of a champion, a winner, a fighter. He didn't care, and then off camera.
Yeah, forget about it.
What can you say?
Nothing.
Oh,
What's the
wearing a wedding dress and the fingernail polish and
Hey, but he got them 40 rebounds to pass it to Mike to hit them jumps.
Yeah,
coming from Detroit, Larry, you got like sports, right? Like 'cause Philly, big sports town, right?
Yeah,
Same as
yeah.
Detroit, big sports town. Even
Yeah.
though the teams, haven't been as good since the Pistons, right?
Yeah.
Probably the last one they won with Ben Wallace.
Yeah.
I know Detroit pizza they always talk about. What's like the food in Detroit? What is the go-to?
You
in
got to
Detroit?
go to. They have a Coney Island place that's downtown Detroit, right where Michigan Avenue meets. I think is it Gratiot? I can't think of the name of the street, but it's a Coney Island place that everybody. It's like world famous, world renowned Coney Island place, and when you go to Detroit, you got to check that place out. That's the spot.
And what's the difference between Detroit pizza and New York pizza? What's Detroit pizza style?
It's just something about.
Nobody eats pizza there?
No,
I'm
pizza,
just joking.
apparently.
I'm just joking.
No, they got another place in Detroit I used to go to. It's in Greektown Casino. I can't think of the name of it now. They had the best
Sicilian.
pan
Don't they
pizza.
do Sicilian, the square
Pan.
cuts?
Yeah, to
Yeah.
put all of the stuff inside of it and then put the layer on top. Oh, that place was so good. I can't remember the name of it now. But Detroit has so many good things going on there now. So many good restaurants.
awesome.
My sister lives right downtown, right in the middle of everything. She can walk across the street to see the Lions play. Walk across the other street to see the Pistons play.
Oh,
Walk
that's
next door to
cool.
see the Tigers play. She's right there in the middle of everything.
So she's got it made.
Kid a corner across the street to the Fox Theater where they got the big concerts, so she's got a primo location. But I love what they're doing to the city now. I'm proud to say I'm from Detroit. I've always said that. Proud to be from Inkster, but from Detroit as well. Lived in Detroit for a while. My brother and sister still live there, so.
I'm good. I'm glad they cleaned it up because last time I saw that documentary and I said,
It had a
what happened?
reputation for a
Yeah.
while. Murder capital of the world, all that stuff, but
It was just that one guy that did it, that mayor or governor that just,
Yeah.
and he got buried. He got 20 years.
yeah.
But it
yeah.
still takes 10 years to fix all the damage,
Yeah.
So it's good to hear that got cleaned
Yeah.
up.
I think the biggest thing about Detroiters is that the true diehard supporters never stop supporting the city. They still support it no matter what negative things that come out about that city. They will always support it. Like me, I'm a diehard support.
And Eminem. He repped Detroit a lot.
Kid Rock.
Kid Rock. Oh yeah, I forgot Kid Rock. Yeah.
Bob Seger. You know, they all still maintain their roots, as well as a lot of other Motown artists and Smokey Robinson and Stevie Wonder. All those guys. You know, Detroit turned out some pretty amazing talent, man.
Yeah, I know. You know, you never know if it's true, but I know it was in the papers that Eminem had donated a ton of money to clean that up too.
That's good.
So, and it seems like, you know, a lot of people from Detroit, like yourself, you know, it's one of those places that people, real Detroit people, are real Detroit people.
Yeah.
You know, if they make it, they fix it up.
Yep.
And you went with greatest quarterback of all time. The greatest running back of all time is
Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders.
Yes,
I agree.
Barry Sanders.
I agree.
I
gotta
100%
admit it.
support that.
I agree.
He was amazing.
No offensive
man.
line ever.
No
And the man
offensive
still
line.
got 200 yards
They
rushing.
were 2 and fucking 12 every year, but
He was
somehow
awesome.
he found holes that weren't holes.
Oh, man, he was like
Every Thanksgiving.
He would change directions without his feet touching the ground. It seems like
The best I've
He'd
ever
be in the
seen.
air and shoot another way. So elusive, so short, but so powerful, so quick, and then to be so humble to retire, knowing he could have broke Jim Brown's record.
I know. That's
and
what
retired.
yeah.
His dad was so mad at him for doing that, but Barry did it his way. He did what he wanted to do, and he will always be etched in our minds as one of the greatest running backs to ever do it.
I agree.
Ever do it.
Well, we can all agree on that one.
Yeah.
That's the first time
Yeah,
I
I
ever did it.
Yeah, he was amazing.
All right, Larry. Thank you for your time.
Oh,
I
man.
love to see you again.
This was so much fun.
Oh, absolutely,
So much
brother.
fun. So
Make sure
much
you come
fun.
back.
I would love to.
I got your number. We got your number.
Let me
And we're not
know.
doing it 4 times next time.
No,
we'll get it the first
man.
try.
I'm available during the day a lot, so and to make this happen, I would cancel something to make it happen.
Oh, thanks,
So
Larry.
you guys are awesome.
Really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yep.
All
We'll
right.
see you next time.
Absolutely.